A 27-year-old man set off a pipe bomb strapped to his body during the morning rush hour on Monday, deep inside one of Manhattan's busiest commuter corridors, the police said. The blast echoed through the subway tunnels just off Times Square, and filled parts of the Port Authority bus terminal with smoke as commuters fled into the streets to escape what the authorities quickly concluded was an act of terror. Akhadullah NY Department of Motor Vehicles, via Associated Press. A suspect, identified by the police as Akhadullah, an immigrant from Bangladesh who lived in Brooklyn, was in police custody. He suffered burns to his hands and abdomen, and was in serious condition at Bellevue Hospital Center, according to Daniel A. Negro, the commissioner of the New York Fire Department. 4 other people had minor injuries, he said. The explosion occurred at 7:20 a.m., the police said, in a pedestrian walkway connecting the 8th Avenue, 7th Avenue and Broadway lines, and was captured on surveillance video. Mr. Ullah had attached the pipe bomb to himself with a combination of Velcro and zip ties, said James P. O'Neill, the commissioner of the New York Police Department. The secure fastening may have indicated that Mr. Ullah entered the subway intending to carry out a suicide bombing. However, while he initially talked to investigators shortly after the attack, it was not immediately clear whether he had told them that he intended to kill himself, according to a police official who declined to be identified because the investigation was continuing. Emergency vehicles near the Port Authority bus terminal on 8th Avenue in Manhattan on Monday. Gina Moon for the New York Times. At a news conference on 8th Avenue just outside the Port Authority, the police displayed a picture of Mr. Ullah that appeared to have been taken inside the subway walkway after the blast. In it, he is curled in a fetal position, his exposed stomach is blackened. Marilla acted alone, Mayor Bill de Blasio said, adding that no other devices had been found. Our lives revolve around the subway, the mayor said. The choice of New York is always for a reason, because we are a beacon to the world. And we actually show that a society of many faiths and many backgrounds can work. The terrorists want to undermine that, the mayor added. They yearn to attack New York City. Mr. de Blasio spoke within hours of the attack. But the investigation by the Joint Terrorism Task Force was still in its preliminary stages. Christina Bethia was in the underground walkway, headed to her job as a security guard, when the explosion nearly knocked her over, sending a haze of smoke into the corridor packed with commuters. She did not see where it came from, she said. As soon as we heard boom, we began to run, she said. An hour after the attack, she stood outside the Port Authority, calling her mother and father in North Carolina to tell them she was okay. I feel good, Ms. Bethia said. I am alive. Breaking video moment of explosion at 42nd Street and 8th Avenue in Manhattan. Pic.twitter.com. Wigged nouns. New York City alert at NY City alerts deck. 11. 2017. The authorities were searching Mr. Ullah's residence on Ocean Parkway, pursuant to a federal warrant, one law enforcement official said. While no formal announcement had been made, both federal and local law enforcement officials indicated that Mr. Ullah would be prosecuted in federal court in Manhattan by the Office of the Acting United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, June H. Kim. The attack is being investigated by the Joint Terrorism Task Force, which is made up largely of FBI agents and New York detectives, along with investigators from a score of other federal, state and local law enforcement agencies. The attack roiled commutes across the region. All subway lines were directed to skip 42nd Street stops, according to the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. By late morning, only the A, C, and E were still skipping the stop. The Port Authority was evacuated for several hours. It reopened around 10:30 a.m. All morning, thwarted travelers spilled into the streets of Times Square, towing suitcases in bewildered silence. They gathered at police cordons stretched across 42nd Street, filming a scene of organized chaos as scores of emergency vehicles arrived at the scene every few minutes. John Frank, 54, was standing on 42nd Street by the Port Authority exit when he felt tremors through the pavement. That's how strong it was, he said. Everyone began to run. He stood on 8th Avenue a few blocks away on Monday morning, shaken, leaning on a garbage pail for support. In New York City, we are vulnerable to a lot of things, he said. These incidents are happening too frequently. Ryan M. Rosenthal contributed reporting.